But today, we got some sunshine out, and it's not snowing. And it's not effing raining.
Yes,
so, that's my always thing with the Mojo.
No, it's great to see, and it's I'm really happy and proud that the weather's held up. It's nice. I do want to touch base a little bit on what goes into really getting this going. I mean, we talked about it briefly for a couple moments, just of what you guys have to go through of getting this fully set up. Yeah. But it's. Give me a little bit of insight, especially some of the viewers. What is a little insight of what it goes into of getting Mojo going?
Absolutely. Well, so like any business, you've got a core thing that you're always focused on throughout the year, no matter what. So with the Mojo, it's something that we are talking about 12 months out of the year. I mean, soon we're already talking about next year's home run derby. We're talking about how to incorporate All-Star game and the home run derby because of the success last night. But really, a lot of this starts in late November. Trying to line up the umpire. Well, first of all, it's always like, yes, Berliner Park says you're coming back, which a lot of people don't realize. It's a contractual basis. Mm-hmm. You got to get that locked in, and Berliner Park has been an unbelievable partner of ours. So you get that park locked in. Mm-hmm. You start thinking about the tournament or the tournament directors you're going to bring in, then the umpires you're going to bring in, and then you got the logistics of the balls. Then you got the vendors, and you got the apparel people, and then you just got the overall continued logistics of how you're going to make this work. When you're going to start advertising, what's the prize package going to be, who's going to be involved, and it takes a village. Mm-hmm. I mean, it takes a village, and then, we're always, we know people are going to sign up. But we're always like, is there going to be that one day where we have 100 teams? Is this thing ever going to get old? But it doesn't seem to get old, and we try to make it. We try to tweak things, try to do things better. Of course, we're not going to make everybody happy.
No.
You're not going to do that. But one of the things I will say, well, that's the logistics side of that. Yeah. So it's constant planning, but it's really geared up planning from November into our convention where we talk about it, where we bring people in. And this is a great opportunity for us to bring in new directors that see really what we do with One Nation.
Right.
And give them a taste of the stuff that we do and the people that we are.
I mean, that's not even touch base. Also, once the bracket is developed, or trying to develop the bracket and getting the scheduling,
my God.
I mean, that's got to be also a little bit of a headache.
I got to tell you, I've been a tournament director. I've done things. I was a USSSA state director and stuff. And I've always been about, like, if somebody can do something better than me, I'm going to have them do it.
Right.
And these guys that do these brackets, I mean, over 900 games have to be scheduled. Yeah. Now, it's easy to go field 14, field 21, field 5, field 6. But the umpire movement, that's got to happen. And, the time frames of things that have to happen, and that thing's got to be built. I've watched, Rick Burke and Joe Boziak be like, well, sometimes we do it all in one day. Sometimes it'll take us a week. Sometimes it'll take us 3 days, and that's the challenge of it is just getting everything scheduled within that bracket, because it's only a couple weeks ago when cutoff is,
right?
And that's why we have to have the early pay dates to see who's in and who's not in, and move forward.
I mean, also, I would give this a huge shout out and kudos to you guys of the way the schedules were actually worked this year.
Yeah.
Allowing a lot more teams to be able to be done right before the All-Star game to give them the ability to be able to watch the All-Star game. You could see the strategy behind that, and obviously paid dividends last night, being able to give a lot of those people. I mean, we're going to tie that right into our next question of, your perspective of that All-Star game. We had maybe over 1,000 people watching around. It's just absolutely insane, surrounding the stadium. And we have people behind the bleachers, behind this field, behind 14, standing on top of the bleachers so they can see over the crowd of people to the field.
Yeah, it was pretty overwhelming. Again, I'm going to just comment on just that logistics of how do you plan to try to get people kind of, I don't want to say stalled, because you can't stop all the games to get to come watch the All-Star games. But the stuff that goes around it, and how to make that happen. Again, kudos to Rick and Joe and those guys that make that work. But I mean, last night, all of a sudden, I turned around after doing some of the video stuff that we did, and to your point, 5 deep. I mean, 5 deep all the way around first of all, I was looking at first and third base lines, and I'm like, guys, I'm telling Tom Bradley and the guys that are with me on the field, I'm like, dude, we're 5 deep back here, and it's even more. And then they go, look at the outfield. So I walked out by the outfield, and they were even deeper around it. And, I'm an old school softball guy. I actually been around softball since the 70s. I had an uncle who played high level and different stuff. And I remember saying to Big Cat Mike Machenko, he goes, this reminds you of the Springfield Stros. This was one of the biggest tournaments around. And he goes, I haven't seen anything like that. And so, you know what we really wanted to try to accomplish last night was how good was this for softball, for the women and the men.
So.
I mean, and they played. It wasn't like this was an exhibition game.
No.
I mean, they went out there and they played, and we were very excited about, again, I'm proud to say with One Nation, we're not afraid to try things.
Yeah.
Obviously with the player card, obviously with some different things. But, last night, very humbling. I'm not going to lie to you, very humbling, very rewarding. And we look forward to doing it again.
And Cliff already hinted toward it on our previous interview that we're determining if it was going to be a one and done, like a special event. And I imagine after all the success you guys are having, this has got to be now something that's going to be future planned. You guys are going to have to talk about logistics. You have to figure out a way logistically fitting in the Home Run Derby, what you guys have going on for that and this. But really looking forward to how that's going to expand.
Me too.
And like you said, for not just One Nation, just overall softball.
I agree.
I mean, it's something that we just kind of revitalize and giving that new experience for even players to want to strive to be able to play.
To be at that level. And that, and we were just talking about it honestly an hour before I sat down with you about logistically, do we do something in 2 days? Do we split up the All-Star games, knowing how we do the brackets,
right?
And how do you get those players to still be around, because people obviously want to go home when they're done. But the magnitude of that last night was incredible, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah,
we'll figger it out.
Even hinted toward at Cliff in his interview, like it's almost giving you a little bit of a taste and teaser of possibly what the show will be like. I mean, that's the idea.
Absolutely. We're excited about that. It's not going as fast as we want, but again, you got to be patient when you build these things. I'll be honest with you, there's a lot more interest from the women for the show side than the guys part of it, and I kind of know where the guys are. It's how much can your body take, and how much do you want to play, on that part. But yeah, it shows you that people are interested with that. That All-Star game last night. Somebody said, "What do you think? Why that was more successful than maybe the last couple of years with the Home Run Derby?"
Right.
You had 24 of the best players on the field. 24 of the best sampling of players on the field. Whereas the Home Run Derby the last couple of years, it's been a lot of people that participated, and people come out to see the big dogs. They want to see the 400 and 500 footers.
Right.
That happen with that. So that's what I'm excited about. I promise you, the Home Run Derby concept we have for next year. I
know that we guys are holding that pretty close to the chest, and
you can't even get us a drink enough in a bar to tell you what's going on with that. I promise you that.
It's great.
I promise you.
But I'm definitely pumped to see where you guys are going to go with that. I know that you guys are really excited about that. So something for players and as well as coaches to be able to look forward to for next year. As talking about not only next year but this year, we have your guys' podcast show still coming along. When do you guys have lined up for your next show?
Yeah, it's probably going to be, again, we tried that last year and it was successful. Got a little goofy with it. Found a great person to help us take advantage of it, because one of the toughest logistics, as you know, is people don't just live 20 miles from you that you want to interview. So like me, I'm in Cincinnati. Most of all of my business partners and the people that involved are in Cleveland, and then we got people around. So, but it'll probably be late April, maybe 1st of the May. To kind of give a report about the Mojo. I got to tell you, besides the Mojo, the Weekender is one of my favorite tournaments. I mean, I think Mojo sets you up to see what you got.
Right.
And I also think, I'm sorry I keep talking about the Mojo.
No.
I think the Mojo is one of the hardest tournaments to win, because so many things have to go right. We joke about it being the Daytona 500 of softball. But because you don't know what you have. You've picked players up, first time guys ever play with each other and different things. But, the Weekender is one of my favorite tournaments because I think people make adjustments. I love what we're doing with the King of the Hill.
Yes.
Coming down, that's in my backyard. I mean, Cincinnati and the MAB and the turf that they're putting in. That's
going to be that's awesome to hear that, they're adding turf for that. That's just going to take it to that next level. It's already, King of the Hill is already huge.
Yeah,
and
it's crazy.
Getting turf out there is going to be awesome.
Yeah, and then, again, I give Cliff credit, man. He's always on the edge, business-minded guy, kind of capping it, how many teams we can bring in, creates that urgency. But, I'm thinking end of April, probably 1st of May, we'll get back on the podcast train, give some reports about the Mojo, the Weekender, and then what's coming up, updates on the show. And stuff right around the corner.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, again, congratulations already on a massively successful
Yeah, I have no voice left. I mean, that goes to tell you.
I know I've been tuning in some of your quick streams that you've had out there, so it's great to see you out there. And again, I've heard nothing but great feedback, especially from what the experience specifically around the All-Star game. It was nothing but great feedback from that. So great. Again, congratulations on the success from there. Look forward to see what you guys can have going on, not only the rest of this year, but next year. And thank you so much for spending some time with us. Appreciate
Absolutely,
it,
man. Thank you guys. Thanks Off the Bench for being here. I mean, this was a great experiment. I think you guys are having a blast.
Oh, no, having a blast. Have already had a lot of success from gaining viewership and followers in that piece. And we had we've had people around our tent consistently, so I'm not going to complain. Thanks. Huge shout out to One Nation for allowing us to be behind Field 14 in a prime spot. Again, I really appreciate the partnership.
Nah,
so
it's cool,
so
man. Hey, I got to say it. We love anybody that supports the orange and black, brother.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much. Make sure you tune in to more game commentary coming in later on. We're hanging out here behind Field 14 at Berliner Park for Mojo Moneyball. This is Sean Mike. We'll see you guys later.